Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being, American, and YouTube Ronin. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's episode of The Other Side of Midnight. The chat is already jumping, so let's say hello to JPRPH1, good friend of the channel. Dark Woods presents JPRPH1 with a member chat. Member for 3 months. Saw Maya Racist. I really liked it. There was a post-credit scene, so stay till the end if you're going. I'd go again if someone wanted to go. All right, cool. FKC 2005, sometimes known as Tim? She of the smoldering avatar. Enters network. Curtis Sobey with a member chat. Hail on the other side of midnight. Member for 3 months. John Doe Juggalo in the house. Good evening, sir. Mikey Seuss 4. Our man from the future, Sashi. Logical Spark. How was everyone's day? Well, better than others, I am sure. All right, I have some guests waiting patiently backstage, so let's not keep them any longer. Faithful Blue Wrench, channel member, the Bird Woman of YouTube. Watch out for her second channel, Fluff Chick Productions. It's Connie Clary.
Hi-yo.
The tired midnight blogger himself, Curtis Selby. Of course.
What? Sorry. I couldn't think of anything more clever, so that's what I wanted.
We are in your room.
I was wondering what it looked like.
Something last called Dark Side. Nah.
And I was surrounded by all these half-naked women throwing pickles at me. Wait, what were we talking about again?
What? All right. And last, but certainly not least, the reason why I know you're all truly here. The woman who will for sure murder me at any moment. Cynscorner. Terminator is her favorite movie, folks. So,
Terminator.
Yeah. Well, Terminator 2. Still. Right, fine. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Oh, very quickly by
Don't hurt me. Oh, boy. And, right. Last but not least, of course.
Oh, did Arturo show up?
Arturo.
Hey, Arturo.
Hello.
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 I'm
My
here.
son, he wanted to join. Crash
Wonderful
the
to finally meet you.
Yeah.
Virtually speaking, anyway.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah, he feels like I have way too much fun on these streams, so he wanted to observe.
Indeed.
At least we don't bite hard. Now, if you like it.
Blazing Saddles in the theaters
I did
again.
see
Yes.
that, yeah.
Ooh.
50th anniversary.
50th
Wow.
anniversary. Yeah.
What a
Yeah,
great film.
it is.
They may not be able to make a movie like that now, but they apparently can re-show it in the theater.
They still
that's
care
Do they
about
put
it.
warnings in front
Yeah,
of
all kinds of trigger
Yes.
warnings. Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Sad.
Well, sometimes you have to give a warning to the kinds of people that might, come to see a movie like this.
Well,
it?
back in my day, you got to be a
Back
man someday.
Day, Arthur.
You got to be a man someday.
Right.
Back in your day.
And sadly, what's coming to my mind is now I'm a man, man. Howdy, lemon pie.
Hi, Lemon.
Hello, lemon pie.
Well, that was a great show. See
Oh,
you.
yeah, hey,
Yeah,
yes,
right.
hey.
You're
Got
back.
quiet,
Well,
so I guess
okay,
it's
that
time to
was
tune
so
out now.
quick one. Yes.
everyone.
All right, everybody,
Awkward
goodbye. Thank you very much.
pause.
Thank you
See you
all
later,
for being
everyone.
here tonight. See you later. Have a good evening. Okay.
Woo!
Oh, all right. This
Best
has been
stream
Cover
ever.
5 of Midnight. Thank you all to my guests who showed up tonight. Of course, Connie Clary, the tired midnight blogger himself, Curtis Selby, Last Call, Troy Pacelli,
Seems like these
Cynscorner,
streams get shorter every week.
and of course, Dr. Joyce Brothers. Thank you and good night. No, you're not.
That's
getting
a
out
deep
this
cut.
easy.
Only us
Oh,
older
yeah.
people would remember Dr. Joyce Brothers. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, man. I haven't heard that name in ages.
In
Darkwood's-
elderly.
Darkwoods Presents says, please, I don't want them in the theater with me. Please tell them all. It will trigger them in the trails. But think about it this way, though. Think about it. It might be fun because you've seen the movie already. You just sit back and watch these morons blow up and laugh. It's a whole other element. It's like, 3D offense.
Yeah, and with the 5-pound bucket of popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. Just sit there eating your popcorn. You.
When I throw it at them.
Yeah.
I would.
Oh.
Honestly, though, I here's the thing, though. For all the trigger warnings they want to put on everything, I don't even think they would be offended by a movie like this. They'll do that on the interwebs to virtue signal, but in reality, they're not really bothered by it.
It's like a very, very, very small percent.
Yeah, but they
I-
have big mouths.
I've
Because
never, for example, never run into somebody that I know personally who's black who didn't like the movie. They all loved it. Every black friend of mine that I can think of would totally be up to watching that movie again with me.
Which one? Oh, Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, Blazing
Yeah.
Saddles.
you just gotta love today's society.
Yeah, you just have to have a sense of humor. There are enough people in this world that just want to be miserable, I think.
Oh yeah, I think they're just unhappy
Well, I
on
think
some
it's that
occasions.
the luxuries that we have, the easy lives that we
Mhm.
have, has created this. I don't know. People feel like they need something to feel useful, or they're bored, or they don't have to work hard, so they have to come up with some sort of conflict that they need to fight, and white knight and all that stuff.
I've
Yeah,
seen a
some
lot
of
of people make that point. It's first world problems, right? You
Yes.
have everything provided to you, more than you need, so you have the time to stop and think about this
Yep.
philosophical BS,
Yep.
Mhm.
that has no basis in actual reality.
Yeah,
Don't get
they
me
are
wrong.
not the ones suffering.
I
compared
love
to
to
other
think
people.
about philosophical crap that has nothing to do with reality, but at the end of the day, I still have a job to do.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to say hello to a couple of people who have joined us. Our man from the future, Sashi.
Yeah.
And of course,
Where
the
the
Clue
first
channel.
ladies.
We have 2 of them.
Midnight Mafia. I like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
That sounds a little bit scary.
You think we could get away with it, though?
Yeah.
You know,
Come to a stream you can't refuse.
you beat me to it.
I was thinking it.
You know, all this violence, this was unnecessary. We're civilized
Oh
people
my
here.
God.
That's good. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have never seen The Godfather, but I know I know what you're quoting.
Yeah, I bet you
This-
do.
And this on the occasion of Lady Mist's birthday. It is. It was Lady Mist's birthday
Oh.
today.
Nice.
I just found that out today.
Happy
Yes.
birthday.
You know,
I'm
Happy
putting it
birthday,
down
Lady.
in my calendar. I keep track of people's birthdays whenever I can.
my family and I would like to extend a very happy birthday to you.
That's scarily good.
It helps. The more tired you are, the easier.
Yes!
Yeah,
it is.
that's
You're
true.
right.
I might start sounding like that eventually.
Oh, my favorite. Do you guys remember the Good Feathers?
Yes.
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 Whenever the God pigeon would come in, and I don't understand what you're saying.
Good feathers perch on Scorsese.
No, I didn't hear
We
that.
want to dance on Scorsese. Yeah, exactly.
Like young Frankenstein was the inspector.
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't that Michael Jackson's
Yeah,
brother?
I didn't hear that. What
was that?
What
did
now?
he die of? Tito
Oh,
Jackson.
no.
What?
Huh?
What he was? So,
No, I hadn't heard that. No.
No, wow. Okay, well, that's the second Jackson child.
70. He
Oh,
was
wow.
only 70.
Well,
No,
fair enough.
Did
That's
not
a
hear
shame.
that.
I'm 192.
I liked his taste in hats. Seriously, he always wore a bowler. I
Right?
They do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whose son is it that's playing Michael in the movie? Is it Jermaine or Randy or Tito? I don't remember all their names, but one of their sons is playing Michael in the movie, and he looks like Michael.
That's
He looks
cool.
exactly
There's
like
also
him.
his sister that's still around, still doing.
Well, he has
All
two
right,
sisters.
I'm looking this up right now. Hold on. Yeah. Breaking. Tito Jackson has died at the age of 70.
Mm.
Steve Manning is a longtime Jackson family friend and former Jackson family manager, has told Entertainment Tonight that Tito passed away today. While an official cause of death has not yet been determined, Manning believes that Tito suffered a heart attack while driving from New Mexico to
no.
Oh my gosh!
Updates
Oh.
are developing. Oh,
Jeez.
Oh.
wow.
My my dad had a heart attack when he was driving a semi, and he got it stopped. But,
Oh, that's scary.
yeah, it's very scary. He's still alive.
Oh, that's good.
Goodness.
It could have been very bad. I mean, it's bad enough anyway,
Hey,
but it could
Corey.
have been very bad.
This may be changing
Or-
some subject, but who's seen Terminator Zero?
Not
Uh,
me.
Not yet. No,
I
I
have.
haven't had a chance.
Are you allowed to talk about it, Sin?
Oh yeah, because it's out now.
Oh,
It's a family-friendly cartoon. Well, it's a
I
family-friendly
watched-
anime. Nothing
I,
bad happens in it. A
Oh,
5-year-old and a
he.
4-year-old
This
can
is
go
the
see it.
thing with him. Anytime he says that, you know, it's opposite day.
I kind of got that from the context. Yeah.
Name one bad thing the Terminator ever did.
Oh, gosh, girl.
Termination.
Yeah, that.
He just gives people hugs. That's all he does.
Yeah, I managed to watch it before Dragon Con because it was coming out on August 29th,
Right.
Judgment Day date. And
Yeah.
I was going to be at Dragon Con. And so I had written Netflix multiple times about it because,
You're a fangirl over it, yeah.
well, yes, I wanted to see it. And
Mhm.
at the time they said no screeners available. And then I wrote them. My last message was, well, I keep contacting you because I'm going to be out of state. I would really like to watch this so I can get the review up. So they promptly gave me access to the screener and I blew through that thing pretty quickly.
Because it's only 8 episodes.
Yeah, it's just 8 episodes, 30 minutes. So
Like I said,
4-hour time investment.
a 6-year-old can watch it and they'll be fine.
Jeez.
Your definition of fine and my definition of fine might
Two
not be
totally
the
different
same.
things. Yeah.
I mean, would I lie?
Yes.
Why would you think that?
Because I live with you, Arturo.
I mean, it's.
Burn.
I mean, would you say the movie From Hell is family friendly?
Oh, here we go again.
Are you talking about the Johnny Depp film?
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
that's a family friendly
Oh.
movie.
I think Boy
I gotta
Kills
watch that one
World.
again.
That's a really fun family flick to me.
So family friendly. It's about a brother and sister.
Yes. See,
Wait, what movie is this?
Boy
Boy
Kills,
Kills
World.
World.
Yeah,
With oh gosh.
Bill Skarsgård.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård.
I
Much.
don't
He
know
did.
this movie.
I haven't seen The Crow, but I
Came
get
out-
the impression he did a lot better job in Boy Kills World.
He did.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
he was
Oh, you mean the remake of The Crow?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
he wasn't terrible in The Crow. It's just the story sucked. I mean, the dialogue and the stuff it was bad. I know, Sashi, right? This is a big revelation. I'm bearing my soul.
Probably in another universe, she's not a fan. Or in another timeline, she's not a fan.
Do you know how I was at Dragon Con and we had this party event and I was on a bingo card and people had to find me and tell me their favorite movie. So I talked a lot about movies that night and consequently several people asked me what mine was. So I had to say Terminator 2 several times. It was quite fun actually.
I know, because you're a fangirl.
Yep. Full Metal Alchemist, yeah, especially with Nina and her dog.
Oh, that was such a very family-friendly moment.
Oh, poor Nina. Chuck Huber, the guy who played the
the dad.
father in the English language dub, he absolutely loves that.
The type of character.
Yeah, because people make him these little stuffed animals of Nina the dog. He loves them. He shows them off all the time. He's a little bit twisted, I think. Chuck.
Well, Chuck is.
I say that with fondness.
Yeah. Like, I remember when we kind of like when we first met him in person.
Mhm.
I remember we were waiting and like we were figuring out where the line was, and someone was asking, "Is this the Chuck Huber panel?" And then Chuck Huber was right there, and he's like, "Yes, this is a Chuck Huber's panel." That guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. He's funny. Oh, I'm sure she has a place in several people's
I
hearts.
kind of don't count. Like, I don't count that as canon, though. She is pretty, though. I will say.
It's a fun watch. I don't count it as
She
canon
was
either.
Blood Rain.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's another family experience.
I realized during the stream, during the watch party of Terminator 1 and 2, I realized that because I had said something about how much I liked the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Yeah.
And
Good show.
I kind of realized that that's a division right there. It's either Terminator 3 or Sarah Connor Chronicles. It's not that one can come from the other,
You could just insert whatever you want. That's why
I think it's a sin that Summer Glau can't have variable size breasticles like the one from Terminator 3.
Oh yeah, because she like expanded them.
Oh,
She's already my ideal woman. I mean, I don't.
Well,
you just blow my mind.
But the
Right.
thing about Summer Glau's character is she was a Terminator with an endoskeleton, and Christina Loken or Lockett, whatever, how you say her name, her character was similar to the T-1000 in that she could change shape,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
she could make those
She's a
weapons in her
liquid
hands.
Terminator.
like I
That
said,
was a good
I mean,
show.
I've only seen Terminator 3 once, and it's kind of forgettable.
It kind of is, yeah. In my opinion, it kind
I
of.
would rather watch that than Dark Fate.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're not wrong
Yeah.
there. No, yeah.
And Helen,
Well,
this
see,
is
I
Plato.
like to pretend.
Hey, Darth Plato.
Darth Plato's here to cause trouble. Right here in number
Awesome.
3.
Says TV and movies don't mix.
Depends.
Don Doe Juggalo says the acting in Blood Rain was top notch. Yes, yes, indeed it was.
Oh, the video game is so family friendly too.
Summer Glau was in Heroes.
She was.
She
I've
was?
forgotten
I
more about
didn't-
Heroes than I even
I
remember.
don't
Oh, wait a
remember her
minute.
being in
Is
that.
that
at
the
all.
actress?
So,
Hold on, let me see.
That's
who
the
that
one we
is.
went to her panel. It was on her birthday.
Oh
oh,
yeah.
nice.
I don't remember her in Heroes. I remember her in The Unit, but I don't remember her
Oh, she
in
was in
Heroes.
the unit as who?
She was in,
Firefly, Dollhouse.
I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, she was in Firefly.
Oh, I didn't realize she was in Dollhouse.
She was one of the. She wasn't one of the dolls. She was one of the technicians. I think she was in towards the end. I think. Again, fuzzy memories. I haven't been able to revisit that show. And they also ended. It's another one of those shows that you start
I
loving it and
heard.
then they just end it in the middle. It's like, screw you,
Yeah.
networks.
Agreed.
He seems like a shy. Is she kind of
Absolutely.
shy?
I don't know.
Because when
I
we
don't-
went there. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I don't know. She often plays shy characters. I've never met her in person, so I don't know.
We went to her panel one time. She just felt very she just was kind of
She seemed quiet and demure.
quiet,
Yeah.
soft spoken.
Sorry, Darkwood's president.
And hello to Scott Hughes. T3 had one of the best endings in the series. Yes, I think that makes the film. The father knew what to do to protect him, and the realization that Judgment Day is inevitable.
Yeah.
Father?
Because her dad.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Kate's dad.
Yeah. I actually like Terminator Salvation quite a bit, but you can't have it unless you have the ending of T3. So it's
True.
kind of like they're kind of like a package deal.
So something that was interesting about Terminator or the Sarah Connor Chronicles is so in T3, John survives Judgment Day because he's in this bunker.
Right.
In the Sarah Connor Chronicles, he survives Judgment Day because that other Terminator has whisked him away
Right.
to like the future or wherever it was she took him.
Exactly.
That was
No,
interesting.
that was the future. That was the future. Unfortunately, that's where the show ends, and we don't get to see
Right
what
there.
happens
That's
thereafter.
the very ending. So annoying.
And hello to Orville Nation
Yes.
Hey,
that'd be
PJ.
a little nation. Thank you.
and
Hi,
DJ
PJ.
Ronnie G.
And DJ Ronnie G, yeah, he is also.
And that
Well, that's-
was. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just gonna say, I was going back to like where you would insert certain things if you want to pretend certain things aren't canon. You could say even the sequel trilogy is a fan fiction.
Oh, it absolutely is. It's not even fan fiction. It's bad cultural vandal fiction. They're not fans in any way, shape, or form. Sin, one thing I wanted to ask you during the watch party, because you might know this. Do you know if there was ever any like books or comic books or anything related to like an ending to the Sarah Connor Chronicles or whatever?
I do not know. I do not know that.
There were
That would be cool,
comics.
though.
There
I
were
know
like
there were comics, but I don't know if there were anything that directly tied into the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
no, not that, but like after Terminator 2, I believe.
Yeah, I know
think.
there were comics, but I never read the comics. I'm not huge into
I mean,
comics anymore.
kind of not wrong, but here's the other thing, and I'm going to say this about Summer Glau's character as well as the Arnold character from the second movie. They kind of established that these models of Terminators, when allowed to develop, ended up becoming more human than human.
Yes.
Kind of,
Yes.
referencing.
James Conner, listen to me. James Cameron in I loved to listen to the DVD commentary on these movies. And one of the things that stuck out to me a lot was he was talking about in Terminator 2. So what version did you watch? Did you watch the theatrical version or the one where they opened up his head and flipped the switch?
Kind of both. I messed it up. I messed up the translation of the disc, and it had the branching version on it, and I ended up getting these weird hiccups wherever there was an edit. I would sometimes end up seeing scenes twice, so it was kind of off. At some point in time, I might have to revisit. Maybe I'll do like Terminator 2, Terminator 3 sometime
because
or something like that.
That's when that was happening. That's when I realized, because you mentioned you were watching basically what was the Steel Book.
Yeah.
DVD version. That's the version that what they did what they called the branching version.
Yeah.
I have that one. Is that the one with the metal sleeve?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got that one.
Hey.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so in that crucial scene where they took his chip out and flipped the switch, which I completely disagree with them removing that. I think that was vitally important. I guess you could sort of intuit, he just started to learn and develop on his own, but I thought they had already mentioned in the theatrical version a conversation when she was digging the bullets out of him. I believe he was explaining, how his chip is set or whatever. And she made some sort of comment about Skynet doesn't want you to do too much thinking for yourself or whatever. And then it was after that they flipped the switch. Well, okay, so she says this, and in the theatrical version, they don't show it happening, and then he starts to learn and adapt and become more human-like. And I was like, that's just a mistake. I guess the audience could intuit that this happened, but maybe some people are wondering how. If his chip was set a certain way, how did he do this? But James Cameron was mentioning how as the movies go on, he was talking about the sunglasses. The scene where he breaks her out of the institution and his sunglasses get broken.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about how that's almost like that's the beginning of a turning point for his character, because it's after that they flip his switch and he starts to become more human and he loses the shades and he becomes more human. And then later when they're down there in Mexico or on the border or whatever, and she decides she's going to kill Dyson, she comes, she comes out, she has his sunglasses on, she's in her military garb, and she's the one becoming more robotic and inhumane. And it was like the sunglasses were kind of like this symbolic representation of that, which I thought was really interesting. I never even thought about that or realized that until he was talking about that in the commentary.
Yeah. I wanted to say hi to Moira Kitty. Meow, meow.
Moira Kitty is here. And also Railway Nation Gaming Club.
Railway Nation.
As well.
Thank you for joining.
See you. All right.
Yeah, Scott's over on my side. Yeah. He's not necessarily seeing all the people showing up. Yeah,
Scott's not a fan of T2, it seems.
T2.
But like I said,
heretic.
I told he wasn't there for the watch party the other day. I said I kind of agreed with him on that, and I really underscored those points the following day on Pops' channel. Because the whole reason I was doing the watch party for Terminator was because the following day I was on Talk Hard with Pops as a guest on the panel talking about Terminator, and I said that although I very much like Terminator 2, it does start raising a lot of inconsistent problems with the time travel that simply do not exist if you take the first movie on its own. And I think that all subsequent films, 3 on, you get that butterfly effect. The problems multiply and get worse when you start trying to suss out the time travel.
Well, time travel is a crazy concept anyway, and it will blow your mind trying to figure out how it can make sense at all.
And the biggest problem is that just because you're having a hard time understanding it doesn't necessarily mean you're not understanding it. It could just be that the writers didn't put enough thought into it. So it's really not consistent. You have to go to a movie like Primer to find something that is kind of watertight. You know,
I have not seen that yet, but I've heard
it is.
about it.
You gotta be in the right mood for it, and you gotta be willing to invest because you're gonna probably have to watch it more than once.
Oh, it's one of those types.
It's one of those.
It seems really cerebral from what I've picked up.
You literally find yourself having to untangle a crazy time travel knot. I mean, you can watch it through and get the basic story, but I think you're kind of like me where you're going to want to go back and go, wait a minute. So what about this? Oh, he was here and here at the same time. Oh, that was him. You know, there's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Well, Terminator 0 is mind-blowing. I'll just say, when it comes to
in a good way.
Yeah,
but it's like it throws you for a loop with the time travel. It's like, what? Oh my god.
Corey, Time Crimes. Are you referring to that Spanish language movie? That was pretty interesting. I enjoyed that. I saw it once, but I wouldn't mind rewatching it.
So one thing I wanted to mention in relation to what the Clue Channel is saying, and you guys were kind of getting at it too, the whole breaking the sunglasses, not killing that person. I pointed out a number of times in the second movie, and to some degree in the first movie too, he doesn't go out of his way. He's a Terminator, and he's playing him like a Terminator. He is all about his mission, and he has no problem killing. But he's not going to go out of his way to kill because that is not his mission. He honestly doesn't care.
Yeah.
You know? And if for example, I pointed out in one thing, he's not going to shoot somebody and waste ammo, for example, right? If it's not his target. You know, there's if I have to kill this person, there's easier ways to do it, and I don't have to waste a bullet, you know? He's doing those kinds of calculations in his computer brain.
As we learned on the music video, "You Could Be Mine."
Okay.
Don't you remember at the end of it, he's coming up to Axl Rose or whatever his name is?
I haven't seen that music video.
What?
Yeah, I know. I heard
yeah.
about it, but I haven't seen it.
I get it's a spoiler, but I guess it won't ruin it for you. At the very end of the video, he's walking up to Axl Rose, and you know how the Terminator's visuals evaluates everything, like threat evaluation.
Yeah,
it evaluates as Axl as a waste of ammo.
Yeah.
See, Scott Hughes makes a great point. If you start, I was pointing out in the first movie, I had a real problem with the whole, you know, how if non-organic material can't be sent back in time, and then they address it, right? Well, why is the Terminator with his metal endoskeleton able to go back? Well, he's surrounded by, you know, biological, you know, tissue and whatnot, but the T-1000 isn't. Why is he able to travel back in time?
Well, I guess because in the shape where it looks like flesh, maybe it is flesh, and then it can just be molded and shaped again.
You know, I should probably not muddy the waters, but in the rewatch, even though I was having a wonderful time, I couldn't help but think in the very first one, why doesn't Arnold just come over as a big wad of flesh and the Terminator machine is still
Yeah,
in the future?
that's a good
Wait.
point. Well,
Wait, what?
he could
I
be
mean-
like a tank wrapped in flesh and come back in time. You know, they could wrap anything in flesh if they wanted to send it back in time.
I mean, I'm kind of making a stickling point that really
mean
doesn't
A big
matter.
machine?
What?
What? Wait, what are you talking about?
In other words,
I'm
you
not
could send a hunter killer or one of those big tanks back in time as long as you covered it in flesh. You
Yeah, but
know?
I guess they also were trying to account for the fact that they want it to mix and meld with society and not be
Well,
noticed or potentially
right.
taken out or
if they
something happened to
if
it.
they change time too much, yeah, Cyberdyne might not exist and so on and so forth. Yeah. But what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, you see, and the other thing to Scott Hughes' point when he's like, you know, how is he able to travel back in time if he's not flesh? I hear the answer in a Scottish accent because the plot needed to happen. Shut up, film.
Oh, because the drinker.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did it happen?
Combat exoskeleton, nuclear-powered CPU, liquid metal, does not have a CPU nor a power supply. That's something I had not thought about. Although they kind of sort of try to explain that. Well, and again, this comes from the deleted scenes, right? When he starts to break
He
down
starts to
at the
glitch?
end. Yeah, he starts to glitch, and it seems to be mostly because of the having been frozen and then rethawed.
Mhm.
Something's not working right when he moves between phases and stuff like that. I suppose also when you get to what's her name, the Irish gal from Sarah Connor Chronicles, she's like a hybrid, right? She's got an endoskeleton, but she's also got the
Metallic and
the metallic outside. So they realize, yeah, there's kind of a problem if it's all liquid metal. So
I would also like to say hello to others who have joined us: Joe's Atmosphere and DJ Plain Ice.
actually, Sin, now you've got me thinking, because there's also the element about anything that the Terminator touches, he can take its shape. So it makes you wonder, is something happening on a genetic level?
Depends what it is. Obviously, he can't replicate guns. You know, it has to be something of equal size.
Well, yes, but he can only take the form of a person that he has touched. In fact, that was something that I felt like was a missed plot point, because
he could have replicated Sarah.
Well, he did replicate Sarah.
He did, but okay, no, sorry, I'm thinking.
I was going to say he could have replicated John, because John picks up the piece and throws it off the back of the car.
Yeah, I thought about that before a while back. And
so that makes me think, is he doing something with the genetics? Like he reads their genetics, and his form or whatever is able to take on, genetic properties of someone. I don't know
what the shape that he's taking.
Yeah.
Or I almost wondered if like the liquid metal was like something like nanobots or something.
See, and this is the kind of thing that they needed to think through, and it only takes one line to explain it away, I mean, you don't have to get too far into it either.
I don't remember if the novelization addresses those sorts of issues or questions. I don't know. No, he doesn't need access to the host's blood. He just needs to touch some part of them. If you remember, in the hospital, all he had to do was touch the shoes of the guard.
Yeah, that
he was the floor.
that kind of, I pointed that out too, and then I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of weak. He should be able to take the form of his shoes then.
Well, he does. He takes the form of
Technically,
everything about him.
Reach out and touch
But
someone.
Scott, your point is, at least with me, is well taken. There are a lot of plot holes in the second movie. And I'm still a big believer that a lot of films are meant to be standalone, and they end up breaking things when they start twisting it to make a sequel. And I'm telling you, the more John Cameron, yeah, see, now you got me doing it. The more that Cameron does sequels to his own stuff, coupled with his arrogance, things just get worse and worse.
Yeah, well, Cameron only did the 2, unfortunately.
That's what I consider canon.
That's true, Sashi. In Terminator 0, yeah, and the Time Machine, if it looks the way it looked in, like, let's say, Terminator Genesis, it's not big enough to hold something much larger than what it already swings through.
Yeah. By the way, has anybody played?
Yeah.
Has anybody played the Terminator video game Resistance?
No, I only just found out about it during the rewatch. Someone mentioned it in the comments.
Yeah, I played some of it. It's pretty good. I mean, if you like first-person shooters mixed with Terminator, then there you go. That's like, I think I heard that they made that game specifically to honor mostly Terminator 1 and 2. So you could add that into the canon.
No, he'd already taken his form by that point.
Yeah, he had.
DJ Ronnie G is saying something about the smart liquid metal must be nanites of some kind. I never thought of that before.
Yeah.
I think Sin should really play the game. It's family friendly.
No.
Family friendly.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm
not
sure
like there's a Terminator trying to hunt you or anything.
I don't like games like that. So
I'm sure there's a playthrough that she can watch online somewhere.
I will tell you
something like
this.
that would be more fun.
The Terminators in the game are hard to kill, just like in the movies.
Yeah, now Darth Plato's saying there's a T2 arcade shooter. I remember that one. I remember playing that in the arcade.
Oh, fun fact. If I'm not mistaken, whoever's in the comments who played through the game, there's a level in that game where you go into the hospital to investigate it because the Terminators are experimenting on people, and you find a body, and he looks like the T-1000, but he's a resistance fighter.
Like maybe
I'm like, oh, wait, is
take.
this that guy? Is this that?
Yeah.
Is this where they got the form to just send him back as?
Well, because Terminator 3 showed us where they got Arnold's form from, and the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Summer Glau's character has either gives reference to or talks about her. The individual she was modeled after, who was also
that was a cool Easter egg. If that was him, but it literally looked like him. He was a resistance fighter.
That's interesting.
See, Sin, you should play the game.
No, not interested.
Come on, your friends are
that happens.
What, Curtis?
Your friends are for it. We'll think you're cool if you play it.
Yes.
I'm just not a gamer. I don't do that too much at all.
all the Terminator fans are playing it. You're not a real Terminator fan.
Yeah, you're not a real fan, Sin.
Oh gosh.
No, you're not.
That reminds me of. Sorry, go ahead.
No,
I was going to say I didn't even know it existed until last week. But then again, I've never claimed to be like any kind of a super fan either. So,
Well, the only reason I got it was because I started getting into Terminator again because I saw the first one on the big screen.
oh yeah,
nice.
I'm like, you know what? I
Yeah,
gotta
it came
get
back this
game.
year for
Because
the 40th.
in general, the series is for kids. Kids can play it. They'll have fun. Nothing
You should
bad
watch
happens.
the Sarah Connor Chronicles, Arturo.
Yeah, I might.
I wouldn't
But
mind
you say it just
rewatching it.
ends with a
It
cliffhanger.
does, but it's still good.
Did you see the Terminator ride at, I think it was MGM Studios?
No, I didn't. I found a video of
Uh-huh.
the movie that goes along with
Yep.
it. And I haven't watched it yet. I know it's like about 15 minutes long.
Yeah, I took
or
it
so.
and wrote it to DVD just because, well, I'm a completist when it comes to, my DVD collection. So I put it in there with all of my Terminator discs.
Oh, so cool. I bet it was a cool ride, but I never
Looked
watched
like
the
it was a
whole
lot
thing.
of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. It
You're
lasted
right.
for a while.
I do feel like that, and you can find online too the one for the Back to the Future and whatnot. Those movies, I think, kind of stand on their own. Yes, it's a lot of fun to be there and in the ride and whatnot, but it's the story of that presentation, I think, that's important.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Okay, sure. Yeah, Terminator 1 is near perfect film. There's it stands up to just about anything as
It's
far
so
as
good. Oh my gosh.
I know you could take the whole show and just talk about it right now.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I won't dominate the
Yeah,
conversation.
you got to control your fangirlness.
She missed out on the opportunity to do that during the
I
the
know.
so that's why.
Well, to be honest,
Yeah.
This was kind of short notice, but I wanted to do a live or I wanted to do a podcast with my friend, and it was either going to be pre-recorded or if Sin joined us live stream, and we decided to go with Terminator, so she'll have her chance to fangirl about it.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yes, Starkwoods. We do have more than multiple. This show originally started out with basically just being a little old me. It was actually a much different show because it was an all-night show, and it was an all-night show, and it was a little more political, a little more, just whatever anybody. I basically just asked some people to come on and just let them go. So it was, and then I along the way I decided, I gotta pare this down a bit because I'm not the sort of guy who's like down with doing 6 or 7 hour long live streams. I've done them, but I don't want to do that week to week. So
they're exhausting.
I basically pared it down to like basically like a 2 hour-ish show, and sometimes I will have a specific guest to come on and talk, or most of the time it's like this. It is a panel show. So that's how the show got started. And please go back and watch some of the original episodes because they're actually pretty good, and you'll see what I mean. And hello to Jonathan Conroy. It says Terminator 1 or 2 are the best. The rest of the series are junk. Yeah, here and there, yeah. Like I said, I like Salvation.
They definitely don't hold up. I wouldn't say all of them are
The
junk.
sequels don't hold up.
Some are better than others, but they don't hold up. But they're still, they're fun.
I don't mind Salvation. I kind of need to rewatch it again just to have a second opinion on it. I didn't mind it.
It was trying to do something different. It wasn't that whole, we're chasing after Sarah. Or, technically they are
a rehash.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
not a
formula.
rehash. And
then Genesis was just fun. It may not be great, but it's fun.
I enjoyed them trying to tinker with the timelines, sending the Terminator back to an earlier time. I like that.
Some people are praising Zero just because they're doing a different direction, something very different from.
Some people aren't happy about
then,
that, but
and then
it
some
actually
people are
didn't
not.
bother me. I didn't mind it. I liked something different.
Yeah, and this was different, very different. So, and know what? It actually makes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that was kind of my question, Arturo, to you was Are any of the characters from any of the films in this series, or is this complete
No.
a complete?
So
Totally
it's
standalone.
set in Japan.
I mean, not
assuming
connected to
Oh.
them.
I'm assuming it like so like when it shows the future, I'm assuming it's mostly in Japan and their land just completely annihilated by the nukes. But of course the Terminators as characters are in there, and of course time travel plays a role. But it's different. There's like another. I don't want to go into too much details of.
That's not true. That was not her twin sister. Not in that scene.
No,
Wait,
I
what?
don't believe
Her
it
twin
was,
sister only
no.
participated in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting though, so in the other Terminator movies, since it's set in the United States, it's easy to access a gun, but in Japan, not really.
Mhm.
So both the time travel, both the Terminator and the main character, the only way they could access a gun is by either killing a cop or knocking out the cop and grabbing their gun, or going to the police station and getting guns. Can't get guns like out
Yeah,
in
they have
general
to
society.
adapt. It takes place in Japan. And
Of course, isn't it in Japan where the guy made a hand rocket to commit an assassination just last year?
was that
I
that
don't
one
know.
where he killed the former prime minister or something?
Shinzo Abe, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And used a homemade weapon to. I'm not sure how deep we can go into that, because didn't Brandon Herrera's video get taken down for a while because he went into.
Well, yes, but in fairness, he did actually show a mock-up of it and how it worked. So I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He did, yeah.
I'll do it.
He did that a little too well.
but his point was,
Yeah.
you can't stop people from making pew-pews.
Yeah, they're gonna find a way.
Yeah, especially these days. And now they're trying to limit your ability to trade information that could be used to print objects. And it's like, sorry, you can't do that.
Well, here's the thing in Terminator Zero. At one point, the Terminator ends up creating like this sort of I guess like not a bow and arrow, it's like a crossbow attached to his arm. So people would find a way to kill someone.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't need a gun.
This might be controversial to say, but a lot of the riots in Europe are coming about from people attacking others with knives.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, people are I've seen suggestions about banning knives or whatever. It's just insane.
We could ban
because this is the problem when they do stuff like that. It's just a band-aid they're trying to apply to something bigger that's happening in society.
Well, shouldn't we ban planes?
It doesn't. It just backfires.
No.
Yeah,
ban
exactly.
Planes, ban
Box
cars.
cutters.
Look what happened.
The biggest
9/11
school massacre in this country didn't involve firearms at all. It involved like explosives, fertilizer, or whatever. Some person blew up this was like early 1900s, and they blew up a place, and so it's look the in 1995 the federal building. No guns,
just bombs.
That was in my state.
But also another thing is when they talk about mass events involving firearms. I'm trying to be careful because I don't know what language might get the channel in trouble. But mass events involving firearms, and they report on mass that. A lot of people, when they hear that language, they automatically are thinking, like let's say Columbine or Sandy Hook and stuff like that. But technically, it just means X number of people, usually it's like 3 or 4, that all get hurt at one time in this one event. And a lot of times these sorts of things are like, let's say, gang shootings.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with, like a lot of times when you think of mass, those things, you're thinking of a complete stranger going into a public place like a mall or a school or a theater or whatever, and just doing this thing. And that's most of those types of events are not like that. It's mostly carried out by people who are fighting with each other, know each other already, and they do this thing. It's not them just going and taking out a bunch of random strangers.
Yeah,
but this is the mind game that they play with you. And so when they say there have been 1,300 so far this year, you're thinking in your brain, oh, this is not 1,300, like 300 and some so far this year. You're thinking in your brain, oh, some stranger's gone into this public place and has shot people up. That's not what has happened. I mean, that is actually a very tiny percentage.
You know, the FBI, and see, most people don't even realize this. The FBI definition for a mass one of those, 3 or more.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Exactly.
And that can happen
in a domestic dispute.
Exactly. And, but in my case, if that happened here in my house, it would also be considered a school one of those, because I'm within 100 feet of a school. Yes. Even though I'm not in the school. See how they mess with the language to shape very often erroneously shape the mindset that people have about these sorts of things. So I have a lot of people who aren't even Americans trying to preach to me about how dangerous it is in these mass events. It's like, number one, that it kind of aggravates me because and they have this mind. Some people really have this thought in their brain that it's like the Wild West here, and you can't go a day without seeing some sort of violence caused by a firearm. I have lived here my entire life on this earth. I have lived nowhere but the United States. I have never seen gun violence ever in my whole life, ever. You know, it's funny you bring up the Wild West, because you know the 2A saying about the Wild West, it may have been wild, but it was always polite.
Yeah, because people had
exactly. You never knew who had what. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, cops do a lot of them.
Well, even in the Wild West, you had guns to protect yourself from bad guys.
Yeah, that's true, Darth. Self-deletion by firearms is considered. They count that.
Yes.
And this skews the statistics greatly, because that's like the highest number of, if not one of the highest numbers. That's
most people get killed by knife attacks.
No, not here. Like in London, probably.
Maybe,
London for sure. Yeah.
The other thing is that I'll see when they also talk about the incident, they're not necessarily even talking about deaths. People don't realize that whether it's a bullet wound or getting stabbed or whatever, most people survive those. Trauma centers are really, really, really good at helping people with those.
Darth Plato says the Swiss have a lot of guns. They also have a lot of artwork from like 1939 to 1945.
I don't think Sweden ever got involved in the war.
DJ Play Nice is absolutely right. And that's, that those kinds of statistics make me as crazy as, people talking about the coof. Someone died of a heart attack, but he happened to have been infected with that particular virus, so they're blaming it on that. He was hit by a car,
but he died of alcohol poisoning. But
he happened to have that virus in him, so and it's like, and then people believe this stuff as if it's holy writ, because they're not willing to take the time to parse it and understand what these statistics. The more I think about it, the more I realize that Mark Twain was right. There's lies, damn lies, and statistics.
You got it.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine was posting a bunch of stuff on Facebook about how we were having some of the deadliest days. Like he was comparing the numbers of certain days to, 9/11 and Pearl Harbor and Gettysburg. Sure. I didn't do it at the time, but I'd kind of like to follow up and see how many days there've been where people died of just natural causes.
Yeah.
like regular flus or regular,
See, and as much as I rip on statistics, I studied statistics in college enough to understand them for real.
yes.
And so I get that they can be manipulated. If I was to
100%.
say that more people died at the Battle of Gettysburg than any other year prior in Gettysburg, you'd kind of say, yeah, no crap, But if you said that more people died at Gettysburg than anywhere else in the world that year, well, I don't know. That really changes things, right?
I mean, American lives, yeah.
And the Clue Channel, thank you so much, my friend. I love this show. No,
I mean,
people on my channel love the show because they know they can push my buttons so easily and get me riled up. That's why they love
can we get Sin riled up about Halloween Ends?
No, we're not talking
Oh.
about Halloween.
What about Dark Fate? Let's go.
God, where do you want to
Darth-
start?
That doesn't surprise me. Darth's comment.
What's that?
Years of history. There's only been about 200 something years of peace. Sadly, yeah.
Well, even that you'd have to parse down to what do you mean by peace? There's relative peace. There's, look, the United States hasn't been in a war since World War II, based on how you define war under the Constitution.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think the 20th century, well, heck, even the 19th century, there hasn't been nothing but conflict.
Thank you, Curtis.
Oh, you're welcome.
Like if you think about the Napoleonic Wars, a few other wars that happened, the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, the Spanish-American War, then you get up to World War I, the Mexican Revolution, and World War II, Vietnam.
Always something.
The secret war against Canada.
I think there was never really any peace.
Right.
Maybe for certain areas, like after World War I and World War II for a time. But no, well, there was more conflict everywhere.
Actually, though, Sin, are you a Halloween fan? Not Halloween Ends, but like Halloween?
Yes.
If in October I decided to do
yes.
Okay.
Make it Halloween Ends.
Let me know. No.
Everybody should watch that review of her just getting extremely mad.
Wait, Sin, which ones did you want me to do?
Well, my favorites.
Yes.
These are my favorites. Halloween, obviously.
Sure.
And then Halloween 2018. And then I really enjoy Halloween H2O. Those are my favorites.
How would you feel, though, Sin? Would you be willing to watch Halloween and Halloween 3 Season of the Witch?
I would, because I actually like that film.
I do too. And I love the and you know me, Sin. I'm a completist. I have all of the versions of Halloween because I'm a completist, and I have to have the choose your own adventure of Halloween. But in my own personal head canon of Halloween, there's Halloween and there's Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, because that's how it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be an anthology.
Yes. It was. Mm-hmm. It absolutely was. It was a kind of an interesting idea. The problem was Michael Myers was such an interesting character.
And every year I
derailed everything.
Every year I put on that YouTube channel 10 hours of happy Halloween.
Oh my goodness.
Until my wife says, I will divorce you. And then I turn it off.
Do you think we should make Sin suffer with... Do you think we should make Sin suffer with Halloween Resurrection?
Oh, I'm not. I refuse to watch that.
Look at that expression. Look at that.
I can't comment. I have all of these movies.
Okay,
I've not seen all of these movies.
I will not watch Halloween Resurrection. I can't. We'll try to, I guess. So I do know that there's going to be some parts of October that I will be out of town. So let me know we'll try to coordinate a time.
We will,
a
yeah,
date.
we'll plan it out, and it's entirely contingent on you being able. In fact, what I will do is I will plan.
I
an
will be in town
alternate-
on Halloween Day,
When does that fall?
like a Thursday, I think. I will be. So we're going out of town the very last weekend in Halloween, but there's still a few more days left after, and then
Yeah.
I will be out of town the first part of October. So I'll be in town.
'Cause I'm thinking, what if I did this on the 28th? That's that Monday before Halloween.
I think
We might be coming. Well, it depends. Like if you do it in the evening, because that might be when we come home from
Yeah.
being out of town.
I think the 30th would work for her.
Wait,
I-
hold
I'm
on.
trying-
I gotta.
No, wait.
I'm trying
Yeah.
to keep it on the Monday for my.
The
Monday night
28th should
meetings.
work because if we go out of town, we would probably come back on Monday.
Well, I mentioned 26th to 29th. I think the 29th would.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
I maybe mentioned the 25th.
Or
and
would
the
you
28th.
Prefer I did it on the 21st, or is that when you're
I will
already out of
definitely
town?
be home on the 21st. I will be in town.
Okay, then I'll pencil it in for the 21st, and I will also plan an alternate double feature in case you can't make it.
In case my internet craps out again.
In case you, yeah,
Gosh, of
crappy
course it
internet,
would. It knows what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and put it in my calendar too, so I don't accidentally forget. What time frame, Troy?
So it would be you're Eastern, right? So it would be
Yes.
starting at 9:00
Okay.
in the
all
evening.
right. All right. I will put it in right now as we speak. And that will make the disappointment of last week a little bit better. All right, cool.
You probably know the Halloween, legacy a lot better than I do, but I know the first movie. I love the third. I
watch
love
it
the third movie.
every year. Every single year. This is what I do. I hijack the TV in the bedroom. And because usually almost every other time my husband's got like he's watching soccer and
Yeah.
Mexican stuff like Spanish news and Spanish sports stuff. And so but every Halloween I hijack the TV and it's Halloween and now followed by Halloween 2018. And don't
Nice.
ask me to go outside after I've seen Halloween. And
Oh,
it's
one
dark.
time I played the music while
Yeah,
she
you
was taking
heard.
out the dog. I was playing the.
Yeah, so one night I'd seen Halloween and my husband asked me to, can you go get such and such whatever outside, because maybe he wasn't fully dressed or whatever and he didn't want to get dressed, and I was like, nope, you've asked me at the wrong time. I'm not doing it. I just
This actually gives me an idea.
He got so frustrated because he could not understand.
This gives me an idea. If you go out at night, I'm gonna put the Michael Myers mask on and I'll just stand there.
Don't do that. You might get hurt.
It'll be
Did I
fine.
tell you guys that I met Nick Castle? Did I tell you guys too?
Yes, you mentioned it.
All right.
I remember, but I don't remember if you did it on a stream or if it was, in the green room.
Okay.
Now,
Might have
have
been
they-
in the green room.
Have you
But I
told them
told
about?
him I wanted him to know. I said, I just want you to know you've been my nightmare my whole life.
And he's like, "Thank you."
He was like, well, that doesn't sound good. And then he gave me his blessings to go forth and not be afraid of Michael Myers anymore.
And it didn't help.
I thanked him, but I had a nightmare about Michael a couple weeks
Of course.
later. No, never worked.
Well, did you tell them about the specific actress you saw that made you fangirl?
Yes, I did tell them.
Oh
told
yeah,
them a
that
while
was the
back.
first time I've ever seen her fangirl in my whole.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Did we
Did they
lose
both?
them?
Their internet just froze. No
Oh,
way.
no.
Oh,
That is just for crying out loud. And we were just
damn.
talking about this.
Wow.
Son of a
Oh, no.
gun.
Holy hell.
Man. Guys, this is why you watch live, for exactly these kinds of moments. You can't recreate this stuff. This is just too perfect.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
She
Are they
hates
back?
this. No, wait, she
I
hates
know.
this. So I'm just gonna. Hi. I'm just gonna.
Is
Like,
that- Is that a 12-inch action figure she's got there of the Terminator? Oh, I don't know. It's
Like
gone
it.
now.
They're gone. All right.
Clue Channel.
Man,
News
that's
Atmosphere.
bummer.
Michael Myers got him.
Oh.
Michael got her. No.
JPRP.
Well, you know
No!
what's really scary about Michael Myers? He's got William Shatner's face. That's what's scary.
I did want
And
to
the
go
setup.
back. I did want to go back real quick about Terminator to something that Clue Channel brought up, because we did talk about this on the program. It says, my problem with T2, how can anybody, even a T1000, keep up with a dirt bike just by running? Here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Robert
Reality check on this
Patrick
one. Yeah.
ran so fast that they had to ask him to slow down because he was keeping up with the bike.
In reality, he was actually
reality.
catching up to the bike. Yeah.
And they had to go, and Cameron had to go, dude, you got to slow it the fuck down. You know, we got to make it look like you're not gaining on him as fast. But yeah, I mean, Robert Patrick at that point, man, that guy was like, he was like basically.
You said
Olympic
he like
level
was training. Yeah, that
athlete.
he trained so hard
trained.
because he took it seriously.
He took it serious. Yeah. So
I'll tell you, I have said this all my life.
The shots of him where he's right behind that bike running, that is real. They are not speeding that up or slowing it down. That's for real.
Whenever you see, people like really, really in shape, right, in these movies, I mean, there's, I don't care if you're male or female, you look at someone you want to be like, and you're like, man, I wish I could do that. But you realize what's really holding you back isn't the desire, isn't even, it's the time. These people literally live their lives around the diet and exercise that it takes to get that way. And why are they able to do that? Because they've got a role coming up and everything is regimented for that role. They're literally being paid to get in that kind of shape.
Right.
So, I mean, if you had the job to be in a superhero movie or some action film like that, you'd look like that too. It is possible. I remember working out when I was in high school. I was working out with these with some professional bodybuilders, and I'm like, man, I wish I could look like you. And he goes, well, you have all the same muscles. It's just a matter of time and effort. Yeah, I can put in the effort. I just don't have the time. See, that's the problem.
So it says, just watched a Walking Dead episode with Robert Patrick featured in it as twin brothers. One of the better episodes. I didn't get that far to his episodes. I saw it up to like the first few episodes of season 7, and then I kind of lost track of it after that.
I didn't even make it that far.
Yeah.
I don't know how many seasons it was. I got as far as the one where what was the Asian kid's name?
Glenn.
The episode where Glenn gets killed, and then they killed the redheaded guy too. I said, screw this, I'm out. I said, I'm getting sick of this torture porn. I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Right.
That actually is, with the exception, well, here's the thing, was they kind of did this thing on the show for a while that kind of threw me off, was that they would give certain characters the deaths of other characters.
Yes.
Like in the series when Denise dies, the girl from Signs, that was actually Abraham Ford's death.
Right.
In the comic.
Yep.
And then they changed it to him getting killed with Glenn, because that was supposed to be the big twist to that scene. Yeah, that's about where I fell off with the show too, but it wasn't necessarily, You see, because my relationship with The Walking Dead's a little bit weird. I didn't have the same issues with it that some other people did. But it does fall into a formula after a while.
Yes.
You know, and I think this is one of the reasons why Kirkman ended it in the way that he ended the comic the way he did. Because I think he finally figured out that, you know, they go to a place, they settle in, a threat shows up, they have to deal with the threat, something else goes wrong, they have to leave where they are.
Exactly.
And then they have to go and find this other place.
And everybody that you like is eventually going to be killed off. I was, because I read the comics, right? So I knew how he was supposed to die. But when they killed him off early, I'm like, oh, well.
Are you talking about Glenn?
Yeah. And it was all a fake out. And then they went ahead and killed him anyway. And then they kill another character. And at the end of the episode, I just said to Netter, I'm like, I don't want to watch this show anymore. And she's like, well, I'm only watching it because I thought you wanted to watch it. I'm like, then we should just stop because it is not fun for me anymore, you know? And welcome back, Sin. Yeah. We said, oh God, the internet again.
Stupid. The power. It was the power. The power just went poof. And then it came back on.
This time it was the power, not the internet?
This time it was the power, but then, you know, the modem and router cycled back on, so I was able to get back on. But that was weird. It was like, okay, that's crazy. So
At first, I thought, because he was in the middle of a sentence, I'm like, okay, well, wait, are you trying to get your thoughts together? And then I realized you were frozen too, and I'm like, their internet went out again. We were just talking about it.
Oh my gosh. I tell you, it's not been a good week.
Denise from Science, who's that in TWD? I want to answer this real quick.
You mean the movie Signs?
Denise is her character in Walking Dead, and that's an actress named Merritt Weaver. She is also in Signs with Mel Gibson. And she's in this movie that I don't know if a lot of people saw, but it was pretty good, called Series 7.
No, I didn't see that.
Series 7 is about this reality show where the contestants basically hunt each other down and can kill each other. It's kind of like The Running Man, kind of crossed with Survivor. It kind of says a lot about how reality television can go wrong if we allow it, and will we get to the point to where we will actually watch a show where like this? Well, obviously, hopefully, I would like to think we wouldn't, but who knows? But that's where I first remembered seeing her, was in that. And she meets a pretty sticky end in that film as well.
Who did she play in Signs?
She was the girl who was the girl in the diner, the cashier girl or whatever.
Okay.
And he has this kind of weird conversation with her, and he walks out and he says, maybe we shouldn't talk to her anymore.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, she's in Signs. And Series 7, for as gruesome as certain moments of it get, because it's not like violent straight through or anything, but you know, it does have these moments. And but if you can find it, because I know it's kind of a rare movie, it had like a very brief theatrical run in like LA or something, and then it kind of went to VOD right after. And it was Brooke Smith, who was the girl in the pit in Silence of the Lambs.
Oh yeah. This is Series 7, you say?
Series 7. Glenn Fitzgerald, who was in The Sixth Sense. Richard Venture, who was in Heartbreak Ridge, who played the Colonel. You might remember him, Troy. He's in
Oh,
there
yeah.
as well. Yeah, and Merritt Weaver, and there's like a couple of other people. But
Joe's
yeah,
atmosphere, it's confused. She played Denise on The Walking Dead, not on Signs. Yeah.
Yes. The girl who got the arrow through the head.
Oh wow, it's got pretty.
The girl on TWD who learned surgery in a couple. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Basically.
Well, I'll tell you what. You know, I mean, you can learn the basics pretty quick.
Okay. And good night to DJ Play Nice.
Good night. Sleep tight.
But yeah, that's just ask me a movie question and I'll go on. But Series 7, if you've never seen it, it's kind of a rare film. It's hard to find. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Check it out. It's actually worth a look. It's and it's under 90 minutes too, so it kind of breezes by.
That's cool.
Yeah. Have to say this: Z Nation was much better in TWD. Sorry for the hurt feelings. I didn't watch the entire series, but what I saw of Z Nation, I thought was good.
I don't think I saw that at all.
I didn't see any of the spin-offs because by that point I was already too disgusted with the show.
No.
It's not a
spin-off? It's not a spin-off. It's a separate thing. It was on Sci-Fi Channel, and it's actually an Asylum. The Asylum did it, and it was like their big series. It's actually not
because I was not going to pick up Fear the Walking Dead or
that started off good. I enjoyed that at the beginning, but then I lost interest as well.
What is it? And Feed the Walking Dead and Walk with the Walking Dead, and
Now there's the Daryl Dixon show.
I might actually watch that at some point because I think Norman Reedus is a decent actor, and I like the character. And I'll give something a chance because he's in it. What I didn't there was that kind of weird YA one. And I watched like the first season of that, but that was like World Beyond or something like that.
Is that the one that was little tiny short ones? Short clips?
No. This was an actual series.
Oh, okay.
And they did like a 2-season kind of YA what I refer to as the YA version because it was mostly kids. And they've all been kind of sheltered and they're not in the outside world anymore. And they had it was the same group that Julia Ormond runs in TWD. And they escape from that. The kids kind of escape from that group and kind of go out on their own and get into. But the weird thing about that was like, it was kind of a rehash because it was all of these kids learning what to do and what not to do. It's like, okay, we've kind of done like almost a decade of this already. We're watching a bunch of characters you now have to catch up to what we already know. Right. So it just felt like you're rehashing all of this information. Sorry, I looked you out after I didn't see you. Welcome back. And wait, was that the Walking Dead an anthology show?
No, it should have been. That one made it much better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because honestly, for the first several seasons, it does have me wondering, well, what's happening in other parts of the world, even other parts of the country? It would have been interesting if we could have every episode had different characters in a different setting.
Well, what like Darth Plato brings up here, the Daryl Dixon series does take place in France. How the hell Daryl gets to France? I have no idea.
I mean, surely it's explained.
I hope. Yeah. But somehow he manages to make it to France, so it is a new setting. Josette Mystery says, I'm a big zombie fan. More movies that loved World War Z. Didn't read the book. I understand the book is much, much different.
Yeah, it is.
And written by Mel Brooks' son, Max Brooks.
That I did not know.
Yeah.
That I did not realize.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that. I'll throw out two films that are probably going to get me kicked off the panel for me liking them as zombie films. But what is it? Warm Bodies?
That's a zombie film.
It is. I liked it. I think
Yeah.
it's a good one. I think it's a different take, and I think it's worth it. I thought you guys would give me guff for that. And the other one is called Fido.
Oh, Billy Connolly and
Billy
Carrie Ann
Connolly.
Moss. Yeah.
Yes.
Seen that.
Oh, you'd like it, Sin. That one you would like.
Fido?
You got to think of it more as a comedy than a horror.
Okay. Like Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah. Kind of, sort of.
Kind of. But it's the zombie apocalypse happens like in the 50s.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it's a post-zombie apocalypse where everyone is kind of, society is continuing on dealing with the fact that zombies exist
Okay.
in a very 50s kind of
Carrie
way.
Ann Moss.
Again, comedy, but a good story.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's on Plex and Tubi.
Yep. Check it out. You'll like it.
Joe's Atmosphere asking Series 7 to Contender. Yeah, that's the movie I was talking about. Yeah. Clue Channel says Z Nation was better. It was fun. Darth Plato says I watched Fear. Was that
Fear the
Fear
Walking
the Walking
one?
Dead.
Oh,
Fear the
Fear the
Dead.
Walking Dead. I'm assuming
first
that's where
season.
that's where I first became introduced to or noticed Coleman Domingo as an
Yeah.
actor.
Mhm.
Yeah,
The first
that
season was
show.
really good.
It was.
Yeah.
And then, it did the same trope with the main Walking Dead. So,
Oh.
eh.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Did anyone see the series
Yes.
The Strain? Yeah, I not the whole
Almost
series, but
all
the first
of
couple
it.
of seasons.
Haven't
I thought it was
finished.
pretty good. Yeah,
It
based
was
on a
based
book
on a
series.
book
Yeah.
by was it Chuck Hogan and Guillermo del
Chuck
Toro?
Hogan and Guillermo del Toro. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have the first two books. I listened to the first book, which was narrated by Ron Perlman,
Mm.
which
Oh,
is
wow.
a god awful narrator. He was terrible. He
Really?
was terrible. Oh my goodness, it was
That
awful.
surprises me. He did such a good job with
He's
the
an actor. He should
yeah.
be able to do this.
Well, he won a what do they call it when you get an award for a Grammy? He won a Grammy for the Beauty and the Beast album, where basically he's just reading poetry.
Really?
And it was really good. Oh, it's really good.
He's not a good narrator slash.
He did good as Slade in Teen Titans.
It's a totally different type of art form
True,
to be
true.
a narrator and to sound like you are telling someone a story instead
Yeah.
of reading a story.
Yeah,
to
that
them.
is true. That
And
is
he
true.
just couldn't. So then with the second book, they had a different narrator. So I thought, okay, I will take my chances and start listening to the second book. And that guy wasn't any better either. So I've
Oh,
never finished
no.
reading the books.
I want to watch the show.
But I enjoyed the show. I don't think I finished. Were there 3 seasons of The Strain? Do you remember?
I
4.
would think there was at least that many.
4.
I think there were 3
There's
or 4.
four-
Yeah.
Yeah, 4
Okay.
seasons.
I don't remember if I got into the third one
Hmm.
or if I just had stopped at the end of the second. So I don't know how it ends, but something I wouldn't mind returning to.
Since the conversation is going too well, I thought I'd throw this monkey wrench in.
Uh-oh.
Has anyone read or seen the book and short-lived TV series of The Passage?
I have listened to the first book or two, but I never watched the show. I got turned off when it looked like they did a race swap thing.
Okay. Now, did you like the book?
I did, but it's been so many years since I've
Okay.
seen it. I can't tell you specifics as to what I remember about it.
I loved the book, but I don't know what the hell they were. It's not even the race swap. I mean, I get it, but that isn't what bothered me. It was so badly done.
Really?
I don't even know how to explain it. Somebody did I can't remember if it's Red Letter or who it was. Somebody did a video about the TV series, and it was pretty spot on. The acting was terrible. I mean, you just name it. It was just awful.
Was Disney involved in this? Because this was Fox television.
I cannot remember now. It's been that was the year that I was badly sick. So there's some things that are kind of weird in my head at the time. But yeah, the book was great, I thought. The TV show, I don't know what the hell they were smoking. So
that happens so many times.
Yeah, I don't really remember much about it myself.
You didn't. I mean, the book, yes. The show, you're not missing a thing.
California's already zombies.
Speaking of that, did you guys see the picture of the Star Wars cast from the original movie that have already died? And the ones that have already died have been kind of like blued out. And for Mark Hamill, his brain.
Just his brain, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, he has gone downhill.
Yeah, he has.
Unfortunately.
He's lived long enough to join the dark side. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, here's the thing. I can give him credit for, his acting skills and especially doing the voice of Joker. But man, he just.
Well, see, I don't think there's any acting involved anymore with him playing the Joker. He's become the Joker. Sashi, actually, it's funny you say that because the White Walkers were kind of zombies, right? Or vampires, depending on how you look at it.
Darth Plato saying he's not the brain of the outfit?
No. And hello to Daniel Barry's sports highlights.
Well, it's just him and Harrison Ford now. In that picture,
That's
anyway.
True. That's true.
Oof.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, I guess, like, Kenny Baker, I guess, wasn't a huge surprise. I knew he had some health problems. The same with Peter Mayhew. But, man. And, okay, I know you're going to say James Earl Jones, he was an older guy. Nobody can live forever. But there was no indication that he was ill at all or anything like that,
Yeah,
he also seemed like a very chill individual, just like Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, that is the impression that I got. One of those ones I probably would have really enjoyed meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we did get to go to Billy D. Williams' panel at one point.
Yeah, he was funny.
He was funny, but he seemed like he gets the same question over and over. He's like, it was interesting, and blah blah blah, this and that. But
the only one from Star Wars that I actually met was Mark Hamill, and this was a long time ago. This was when did Babylon 5 start? It was like during its second season. I was at a convention that he was at.
When was Babylon 5 out? I should know this. I think it was
the 90s, right?
Yeah.
And,
so it was right in that area. 93s-ish? Okay. So, yeah, it was probably around 93, 94.
He was 93.
No, they're talking about the year a certain show came out.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about James Earl
Wow,
Jones.
it's been that long ago. Oof.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah,
a
I
minute.
know, right?
Hello to Jed Revan Wolf. Thank you for joining us. And good night to Dark Woods Presents.
Take care.
We got
Yeah, I
40
heard
people
that
in the
Coming
chat.
to
Thank
America
you for joining
sucks.
us.
Or the sequel, I mean.
Oh, the sequel set? That's sad.
Yeah.
I heard that was, most great. It's WB5 remain right next to me. Nice.
I bet you did.
I will tell you this: probably the best thing of this year for Sin is seeing Linda Hamilton.
Oh, here we go.
The fangirl moment that I never saw in
He still can't get
the
over
past
that.
28 years of my life, except for when I was 28. I got to see her fangirl in front of my eyes.
I'm not going to tell the story again, so I've told it enough. Oh, I didn't. I was reading Darth's comment, and I thought he was saying RDJ, like Robert Downey Jr.
No.
And I was like,
Was
what? He was
spoiled
spoiled all
all
over the
over
playground?
playground.
How? Yeah.
You know, you know what? I know I've told this story on my channel. I don't think I've told it. A lot of y'all haven't heard this story. Real quick, after Empire Strikes Back, this was like when it first came out. All of us in the schoolyard were talking about if we actually believed that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father. And one of my buddies had a theory that actually Boba Fett was Luke's father. He says, he shot at him and didn't hit him, so I think he was. And I'm like, no, that he was under orders to like get him to Darth Vader. But it makes a lot of sense, right? Darth Vader's a liar. He may have been lying. He was just trying to get into his head. You don't know until Return of the Jedi if he's Luke's father. So before I got the chance to see Return of the Jedi, like the week before the film came out, I went to the comic book store and they had the magazine-sized comic book adaptation from Marvel Comics.
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up. I had to find out. And I read it. And I read the whole thing. So basically the Return of the Jedi was spoiled for me. The only thing I didn't know about because of the comic was the comic does not include the scene of the Force ghosts at the end. That was a nice little surprise for me when I finally got to see the movie. But this is why I'm not concerned about spoilers. I gotta know now, and it's fine with me. I will still end up seeing the movie and loving it.
I
Yeah.
don't like
I
to
don't
know
like things.
spoilers because if somehow it does affect my enjoyment a bit. It diminishes it a little bit. Some people, they don't like, my daughter's like that. She didn't care. But for me, yeah, it's
Well, there have been some films that you and Steven have reviewed that the way you review it, I don't want to spoil anything. You guys got to see this. And those are the ones I probably am like, okay, yeah, I probably want to see that fresh because of the way they described it. But
yeah, if I'm really passionate about, if I really, really enjoy it, I want you to experience it the way it was to me.
I get that.
If it's kind of mid, or if I am really angry about how bad it is, I will spoil the hell out of it. I don't care.
Scott is asking,
like Halloween Ends.
Go ahead.
Scott Hughes is asking, did anyone else see Star Wars at a drive-in? Yes,
No.
I did.
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
The summer that it came out, I saw it in the theater. I wanted to see it again. I was spending the summer in Ohio. My uncle owned a marina there, and he took me in his pickup truck to go watch it. While we were there watching Star Wars again, the kid that worked for him, Bobby, got in the truck with us, and we were watching it together. And then he ripped a massive gas explosion. We all fell out of the truck, kind of seriously. But yes. So that was the second time I was seeing Star Wars, but I saw it at a drive-in. Yeah.
Cool. I haven't seen any of the original films on the big screen. I would love to.
Just Atmosphere says that was a huge rumor in the years between the movies. I think that's why they planted Boba Fett at the beginning of Jedi, the Sarlacc burp, even just to let us know that was BS.
So I see. This is something else I've talked about before. This was before the internet, so there was no way for my group of friends to know that other groups of kids might necessarily have been thinking about that. So stuff like that, I think, generated spontaneously in different schoolyards and whatnot. But yeah, I get that too. Speaking of that, Sarlacc burp right after Boba Fett got eaten. Works its way into the Marvel Comics story, not the movie adaptation, but as they were continuing the story after Return of the Jedi, they kind of go back to that moment, and it shows, like a flashback of the Battle of the Sarlacc, Boba Fett going in, and then the burp. And then it follows Boba Fett after that moment. He gets burped out of the Sarlacc, lands in the desert, gets picked up by some Jedi, not Jedi, Jawas. And see, I knew when I saw Book of Boba Fett, I'm like, they stole a lot of this from Marvel Comics. They tried stripping off his armor. He wakes up and, gets into a tussle with them and ends up hitching a ride with them for a while. Gets into a scrape with them, gets his memories a little bit skewed. When he finally comes to and starts to try and wrestle with the Jawas, it ends up with the Sandcrawler going into the Sarlacc, so he ends up back in the Sarlacc again. And I'm like, I always thought that was kind of a cute, self-contained story that doesn't affect canon at all. And then when I saw the Book of Boba Fett, and he, gets out of the Sarlacc pit, and his the Jawas take his outfit. I'm like, son of a! They're literally stealing from Marvel.
Well,
yeah, no, they.
It is a Disney company, so
Disney does steal stuff.
Disney is stealing from everybody and not doing it as well.
Yeah.
Well, then there was the Legends, where I think it was another bounty hunter friend of his that helped him get out.
I knew that he was.
No! I'm sorry. It was Dengar. Yeah. Dengar helped him get out.
Yeah. So technically, like we were talking about Terminator, like where you could insert certain things. Like I said, you could take Rogue One, because that was a really good movie. You could take that, make that kind of maybe Andor. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's really good. And then everything else after that. You could just insert whatever, like some of those Star Wars graphic novels. Man, they were so good.
Oh yeah,
very dark. Yeah. Like the one where the Jedis were on that raining planet. A lot of Jedis were getting killed. Like that's a subject that Disney will not do. But boy, was it so good. So just take the ones that you really like, just insert them in there. And then everything else, we don't count.
They're missing all the great opportunities, because there were some great anthology stories. The Tales from Jabba's Cantina, Tales from Jabba's Palace, Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina. They could tell all those stories, and do it as an anthology series. But of course, they won't bother doing that, because then they would have to pay another writer that isn't one of their writers.
So you were mentioning something about the Tales of the Cantina or something, right?
Yeah.
You were saying, that's so funny. Because that's so funny you'd mention that, because it reminds me of Kevin J. Anderson's panel that I went to when we were at the con, together a couple months ago, and he was telling how those stories came to be. It was an interesting story. It was like he was in some place. I don't remember if he was like at Lucas's house or the ranch or wherever, and they're like looking through stuff because he had already been contacted about like trying to help come up with ideas or whatever. And
Sure.
he's like looking through stuff, and they're talking. People are talking like around him. He's not really involved in the conversation. And they were trying to think of ways to continue Star Wars stories, but trying to figure out how can we do it without screwing up what's already been established and blah 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 blah. And he was just like, he kind of heard it, and he said, "Well, just like focus on characters that if you tell their story, it's not going to affect anything, like the people in the cantina."
Yeah.
Or the slave girl at Jabba's place
Yep.
or whatever. And
Exactly.
so they were like,
Yeah,
like-
exactly.
And then they basically
Wait, George
had him
Lucas overheard them?
do those.
Yeah,
They had him do those books.
that's a
That's
great
kinda
idea.
Yeah.
And those are some good stories too.
Yeah.
By the way, I am planning, and I don't know when I'm going to do it. Sometime soon, I think. For my channel members, I'm going to do a couple of watch parties of the is it the Patterson cut of Obi-Wan and
I heard about that.
Ahsoka.
there's
So
one.
basically, you can watch it in one sitting, and you don't need to have Disney to do it. But you would have to be, you would have to be a last
Channel
call channel member. Yeah,
No one counts Disney like canon.
I know.
Go back to those graphic novels of Star Wars. They were so good.
They had so much material to choose from. I don't
Oh
know
my
why
gosh.
they ended up choosing.
And
to-
remember when we would go to the library, I would get the Inuyasha mangas, but I would also get those graphic novels of Star
Yeah, I
Wars.
do remember.
They
All
were
those.
so good.
There is this absolute, and we say it all the time, but it really is true. There is an absolute hate for the fandom
Mhm.
by the people working on these shows. They can't stand you. They are like the cool kids in high school that hated the nerds. That's who these people are. And they do things to just piss people off. And it's all of fandom. They do it intentionally. When Kathleen Kennedy says there are no books, that's all non-canon, and then she picks and chooses, or the writers pick and choose this and that and do it poorly, they're doing it just to F with you. Same thing when they cast what's that kid's name? That played Reed Richards in Multiverse of Madness.
Krasinski?
Straczynski.
John
Straczynski. Right. They were saying F you. We know this is what you want. This isn't what you're going to get when we do Fantastic Four. You're going to get the Mandalorian instead. But we're going to take him and just kill him brutally just because that's what you want.
Yeah,
That's what all of this is. And
they have. It's weird.
They have to, and if there's any shareholders that actually care about making a profit in these companies, they need to be aware of that. They're literally driving their fans away. They're doing the opposite of what it takes to make these things successful intentionally.
Well, money talks, and they lose money.
No, you misunderstand. I mentioned this on many previous streams. If you believe that they are in business to make money, which would be a logical conclusion, you will be very disappointed and confused, and you'll be going, make it make sense. Once you understand that the people involved, that the board of directors at Disney, Iger and Kennedy, and all of these people do not care about the profit. They're going to make their money no matter what. They don't care what happens to the company. When they leave, they get their golden parachute. It is not theirs. It is only the shareholders. And they're going, why is Disney not doing well? Well, Iger says he's got a good plan, so we're going to vote him back in as the CEO again.
Yeah.
And it's gotten even worse this year. We'll see what happens next year. But, yeah, nobody that is actually making money in profit from Disney understands any of these things, and the board of directors don't own stock in the company. They've all sold off their stock because they know there's no money in it, but they get paid from the company. They're just sitting there collecting paychecks.
Yeah, it's
It
crazy.
kind of is a cult, Clue Channel. You're right.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, Concord, that video game, developed, I don't know how many years, millions of dollars, and then that game launched, and they ended up shutting down the online after 8 days.
Keep in mind,
all of that.
I mentioned this to Boomer on Geeky Geezers just a little while ago. It's happening so hard and so fast in the gaming industry because they've already been on the margins. They're a much smaller business. Hollywood, however, is much, much larger. They can coast longer, but nobody is too big to fail. Don't let anyone tell you differently. There's no such thing as too big to fail. It's just they can go longer before they fail. They have more momentum to carry them.
Well, I do understand that a few of us do need to go here and get this thing that is called wait, what is it again? Oh,
they call it sleep. I've heard of it. Yeah,
right.
No,
so,
sleep till Brooklyn.
No, yeah, sleep till Brooklyn.
Sorry.
Oh, now I got that fucking Seagal movie in my head now. Out for Justice. Oh my god. Okay. Oh, we lost.
Oh, there you go again.
Arturo again. Damn it.
Ben has left the building.
Which may mean they might not be coming back if they add
Hired
another.
Blogger's comment was so disappointing. She has left the building.
Yeah, that I just feel so bad for them. Their internet and like it's like, guys. Somebody said something about needing to be off the grid so that that I have a battery backup. If I had the same problem she did, my internet and my computer are plugged into a battery backup that would give me some amount of time that I'd at least be able to tell you, I just lost my electricity. I don't know how long I'll be with you, that kind of a thing. But yeah, people need to start thinking about things like generators and whatnot, because eventually you won't be able to rely on the infrastructure. Things are happening in this world. Internet died again. Yeah.
And turn and punch out everyone. Okay. Thank you very much, Sin and Arturo, for joining us. It was Arturo's first time officially on the show. Thank you for joining us. Indeed. All right. An interrupted power supply. Well, unfortunately, I don't have that, so I'm good. It is like 2:04 a.m. here, so I think it's about time to start wrapping things up. We're going to go around the horn here. Ladies first. Connie, what do you have coming up?
I'll be doing 2 movies this week. I'm not sure which ones I'm doing yet. Still deciding how I'm going to do a couple of videos for this week. I was out for a few days for certain reasons. So, and that'll be it for right now.
Right on. Curtis.
As always, well, maybe not as always, but as is becoming routine, I'm going to do something Tuesday and something Thursday. And as usual, I haven't really thought of a topic. People in my some of my subscribers want me to do the drone warfare history, but I don't know squat about it. So
get on the research.
I'll either research that or I'll cave in and just do another rant about why are we continuing to try to destroy Trump. One of the two. And then Saturday I'll come up with some cartoon. Any suggestions if I'm able to get, because I I have physical stuff, but I don't have my Blu-ray player, so it'll have to be something that I drag off of the net. But I'm open to suggestions as far as a cartoon for Saturday. And that's basically it. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays.
Troy?
So later tonight, Monday night at the movies, last call's Monday night at the movies. Just the one film this week, LA Confidential, with special guest, Deleted Scenes, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, on my channel. Tuesday, Sparkwood and 21, which Deleted Scenes will tell you all about. But then after that, starting a new show, rewatching from the beginning, Blake 7. That'll be 10 Central, 11 Eastern on my channel. Wonderful British sci-fi series that not a lot of people in the U.S. know about, and you're going to love it. So join with me right from the beginning this Tuesday night. Friday, Last Call with Troy Pacelli on my channel. Aged Boomer and myself will be looking at remakes. We're going to look at a couple of remakes that were actually really good, that, you know, kind of justify the concept of the remake. And we're going to look at a few films that we think need to be remade, probably would benefit from being remade. So that'll be Friday, 9 Central, 10 Eastern. And of course, I will be guesting on Netter's channel on Thursday night, and Big Al's channel on Saturday night, and Geeky Geezers on Sunday evening. And I want to be Deleted Scenes when I grow up. I want to be online all the time. No, I don't, but it's what's happening. That's it.
Huzzah!
That brings back around to myself. Of course, as Troy brought up, tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, Last Call, Monday night at the movies, LA Confidential. Tuesday, live from Sparkwood and 21, watching episode 12 of Twin Peaks: The Return. Do we have a thumbnail up for that even?
Yep.
Or is that some? I think we need to. Do we?
It's already up. Yep.
Okay. So that link is already up. Let's see. Right now, Wednesday's free. Thursday, I will be, of course, the guest on Netter's Network's Thursday Things.
Yeah, that's right.
Huzzah!
Yes, indeed. Of course, after I have finished making Netter's show a complete crap show, just by being there, I will have. She will have to wrangle me. I will have to be kept in line. Then, of course, right after that will be the weekend update, where I let everybody know what I'm going to be up to the next week. Now, some of you might have been wondering what exactly happened with Western Cinema Presents this today. Bill and I had planned to have a watch party for the director's cut of The Wild Bunch. Unfortunately, there were some technical issues involving Cosme. And we don't know when we're going to be able to come back with that program. But hopefully everything will work out and get everything back together. We can find out what the hell is going on with Cosme and why we're having trouble linking it to StreamYard. But once we do, that show will be back as promised. And Thursdays, we also do Action Theater. That's at 4:30. And the next planned episode is Thunderball. with
Ooh.
Sean Connery as 007. So stay tuned to my community page for when that may air. Hopefully, we'll have everything up and running on time, and we'll be back this week with it. If not, we will let you know. Yeah. And I do know that I am going to be doing at least one more episode of Films with Friends with Big Al Presents. I know we're doing a show together in December. So until then, I'm going to play that by ear and see what Al has planned. So stay tuned for that. All right. And yeah, I think that's everything on my end. Of course, stay tuned. There'll be reviews. I've got a couple of other updates on some other shows that I'm working on, and I want to do at least 2 member streams before now and the end of the month. So I need to plan those as well. So yeah. Any final words before we round it out?
Nope. Just want to thank everybody who came and supported us on all of our various different streams. You guys are awesome. And I'm just glad you guys keep coming back. We'll keep doing this as long as you keep coming back.
Indeed. We had as many as 42 people watching at one point.
Wow.
Yeah. And we've managed to keep most of them through the show. So, yeah.
Wonderful.
Indeed.
Cool beans.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Curtis, Connie, any last words?
Thank you for having us on. And
thank you very much. It was very fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thank
Anytime. All right. I do want to thank everyone who joined us tonight. Those of you who are on Twitter, I can't see you, but I know that you're there. Twitter or X, whatever you choose to call it. I still say Twitter. I'll get used to it. Just like I keep forgetting to call Burma, or whatever they call it now. Right. So, I would once again like to thank everyone who joined us here live in the chat on all of our various channels. I'd like to thank once again Sin and Arturo for joining us. Connie, Troy, and Netter, of course, who was in the background, and Curtis. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Stay strong. Be safe. Try not to harm any presidential candidates or ducks.
Quack.
Because I'm getting tired of hearing this shit. Because this is how we win. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.